and cannot be tried in violation of a key provision of Nigeria. The Constitution of Nigeria says any determination made by the Supreme Court is binding on the lower court. But there cannot be any trial when key sections of the Constitution and a key Supreme Court judgment has been violated by a court of law. This is my 4th year in solitary confinement in detention. The 5th year will not, as long as justice will be done at the end of the day. That's what bothers.
Welcome to Political Roundup Stories with Everybody Jerry. On the 29th of May 2023, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was sworn in as the president, the 16th president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And since then to date, there have been a lot of brouhaha, economically, security-wise, politicking, and all of that. Many sees it as a challenge for a democratic state like Nigeria, which are trying to gain a form of development or attain development in the first place. But since the inception of APC in 2015, the development of Nigeria and democracy has declined drastically. But here are some of the issues or stories that are making rounds politically within the country. As of today, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is represented by the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Karim Shettima, is demanding for debt forgiveness for Nigerians. There is an ongoing United Nations General Assembly in New York, United States, of which the President of Nigeria, through his representative, the VP Shettima, is calling on the United Nations to help Nigerians and by forgiving them the debt that they have taken from financial institutions and other countries around the globe. Let's not forget that this similar thing happened under Olusegun Obasanjo when he sought for debt forgiveness in Nigeria back in his first tenure to second tenure as the president of Nigeria when democracy returned back to Nigeria. But the question here is this: for a government that can borrow up to $150,000 and in $2 million US, and what they do with it, one cannot really understand. Like we saw the purchase of the presidential jet, the presidential yacht, an SUV worth over $100,000. How do the nations of the world and institutions forgive such a nation of the debt or forgive them of the money they have borrowed them within the time frame that Tinubu is talking about? Because when you look at it carefully, it is not to borrow, it is what you use it for. And if those money were judicially used, then we can say fine, let them go. After all, they have done this or that and all of that. But here, you borrow to consume, not just consume, you embezzle that money that you borrow, and then you are still borrowing and you're not using it and you're asking for forgiveness. Who does that? Up to our next story. It's time to stop fuel subsidy payment. Dangote. That the regime of subsidy came to an end on the 29th of May 2023 when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came on board and said fuel subsidy is gone. As of that time, fuel was being sold for around 180 naira per liter in most filling stations across Nigeria. But when the president made that statement on 29th of May, the fuel price jumped from that price to over 400 naira per liter. And as of today, fuel is being sold around 1,000 to 1,200 naira across Nigeria. Now, and we all saw in the papers that the fuel subsidy technically came back after he removed the fuel subsidy, of which the pump price never came down. Even though the government is still saying that the subsidy is gone and they are not paying subsidy, for Dangote to come out to say that subsidy need to stop, it means that the governments are not actually saying the truth. Justice Nyoko withdraw from Nnamdi Kanu's trial.
As long as justice will be done at the end of the day, that's what bothers me. For justice to be done. I cannot be tried in violation of a key provision of the Constitution of Nigeria, Section 36. It's as simple as that. The Constitution of Nigeria says any determination made by the Supreme Court is binding on a lower. So I was actually surprised that a high court have refused to obey or abide by the determination of a Supreme Court judge. This cherry picking of what was contained in the Supreme Court judgment is what I'm against. Yes, that's correct. It should be implemented holistically. Yes. I'm not against facing any trial. After all, I'm innocent, so they have not been against me. But there cannot be any trial when key sections of the Constitution and a key Supreme Court judgment has been violated by a court of law. This is my 4th year in solitary confinement in detention. The The 5th year will not kill me. This persecution of the Igbo people.
Remember that this is all going back to Muhammadu Buhari's administration when Nnamdi Kanu was picked up in his hometown. And since then, almost or more than 4 years now, he has been under the detention of the DSS. And since that time, there have been a lot of back and front. The Supreme Court has made some judgment, and there have been some judgment conflicting other judgments and all of that. And we have seen people like Sunday Igboho being released by the federal government. We have seen Sore, who is being charged for treasonable, being released by the federal government. But however, keeping Nnamdi Kanu up to date is one thing we never understand. And just like you heard him over there, it is just a matter of... So, let me not be the one to say that, but you know what is going on in Nigeria. But what do you make of all of these? Is it true that the marginalization of the Igbos, just like you heard the national chairman of APC, Ganduje, aka Gandola, the former governor of Kano State, said that the southeastern part of the country need to embrace APC if they want not to be marginalized within the country. So the reason for the marginalization of APC, of southeastern part of the country, is because they are not part of the APC-led government. The unemployment rise to 5.3% as the CBN raised tax to 27.25%. What do you expect when fuel subsidy is gone? When fuel is being sold for 1,200, the unemployment rate will definitely go up because some companies are folding up. Some cannot keep up with whatever it is going on in Nigeria as of today. So many people cannot afford to go to their working place. They sit back at home. And remember, when that happens, the rate of crime will increase. Sexual harassment probe. Army discharge female soldier exonerates officer. This particular story came up 2 days ago, and there's something that I don't really understand what is going on in Nigeria. But you all know, according to the Punch newsroom, they said the Nigerian army has discharged a female soldier, Private Ruth, from service after she accused a senior officer, Colonel IB Abukarami, of sexual harassment. In January 2024, Ruth made the accusation via her TikTok page, where she alleged that Colonel IB Abu Salami and Colonel GS Oga and Brigadier General IB Solobo had made her life unbearable. She specifically accused Abu Kalami of making rapid attempt to assault her, admiring injunction against her, with forcibly removing her from her residence.
I won't endure again. I don't want to die young. Definitely they will come for me, but before anybody will dismiss me, me, anyone that call for the order, anybody that call me for any order, anybody that want to do my charge, anybody that want to do my order to dismiss me, the person that do the order will not see peace. He or she will not see peace. And if anything should happen to me, please hold Colonel IB Abdulkarim responsible, Colonel GS Ogo, and Brigadier General IB Abdulkarim, IB Shelibo. Hold these 3 people responsible. They don't want me to grow. They don't want my progress. This is what happened. 2022, I was posted to Cantonment Medical Center Ojo, where I met Colonel IB Abdulkarim, who requested sex for me and I refused. Ever since then, this man has been my nightmare. He threatening to dismiss me. Each time he see me, he injects me. Come to my room to inject me. My own apartment, come to my room here to inject me. Send some boys to my house. If I'm lying, I have all evidence. I have evidence against him, and I have witnesses.
Sexual harassment, exonerated an officer, and then you discharge the female soldier. You know, this is not to act like defending the lady. She may be lying, she may be saying the truth, but personally, there is no way a leopard will be a judge in a case between him and a goat, and you expect the goat to come out alive. It is not possible. If we have an independent investigation into this matter and they find any one of them guilty, we will say, oh, that is it. But for the same army to take, do that investigation, do their findings, do their court whatsoever, and they find the female. Had it been is an officer to officer, it's going to be a battle for the battle for supremacy. But this is an officer to, in fact, a private soldier. Anyway, this is not to say that what they have done is wrong or right, but in my own personal opinion, I have said it. There is no way, just like we saw in 2023 presidential election tribunal, and we saw the kind of judgment that came out, and we saw that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said he was going to deliver Edo to APC, and he did. And then he said, if you are not happy with the result, go to court. Which court? The same court that they went and they say 7 is bigger than 8. Is it the same court that you want to go and waste your money? It's the same way as the army has investigated this young lady who has no money, who is not a superior, who is just a private, soldier. And then what next? They find her guilty and discharge her and exonerated the officer. What do you expect? If it is them, the small, them, is a different matter. Then you may be looking at who have long leg. That is what it is in Nigeria anyway. But this is not to discredit their investigation anyway, but this is my own personal opinion. There should be an independent body that will investigate this matter. Until then, this thing, Nashara. What do you make of all of these, random story in Nigeria of today? Debt forgiveness. Is Tinubu okay? Borrowing to loot. We saw with Betty Edu that there is a permutation that she should return as a minister of poverty alleviation with all the money looted. And they borrowed. So tell me, how will they forgive you? Let me have your take in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and I remain Eriba Jerry.